first of all, thank you very much for doing this for Scrolls of Dartmouth, which is my webzine. Let's cut to the point. So I know that you come from a country in which doom metal was invented by Black Sabbath, right? And you and the other great doom metal bands have taken this genre a little bit further. Please tell me what inspired you to play this kind of music in the first place?
I mean, largely kind of Black Sabbath mainly. It was I always wanted to be in a kind of Sabbathy band. Like when I was quite young was when Black Sabbath got back together for the first time in the late 90s, and there was a lot of that kind of stuff around, like bands like Electric Wizard and Orange Goblin and Cathedral were all getting quite a lot of attention, and there was that was when the kind of the stone rock boom kind of happened, sort of on the back of that Black Sabbath reunion, I suppose. And I really liked it. I was very young at the time. I was sort of 13, 14. I liked that a lot more than a lot of the kind of pop punk and whatever that was sort of being aimed at me at the time. I thought it was just cool. I like the riffs and stuff, and I like the kind of the atmosphere of it.
You kind of learned to play the guitar to some of those bands, didn't you? So you obviously picked up some of the style.
When as I was sort of picking up guitar and to play, like, the bands I was playing along to were like Orange Goblin and stuff like that. So that was always how I sort of saw myself playing guitar anyway, because that was just what I knew how to play. And then when a few years later, when bands like Reverend Bizarre and the Gates of Slumber were around, I really wanted to do that, and I sort of made an effort to actually start a band. Didn't know how long it would last. And here we are, 10 years later. But mostly it was, just wanted to have that kind of slow, heavy, kind of groovy stuff with guitar solos. It was kind of mainly what I wanted to do with it. And I think that, being British, it was slightly easier to do that, because all the stuff that Black Sabbath sing about, like Stonehenge and, the kind of the pouring rain and the thunder and stuff, all spoke to me in a way, I think, that maybe is kind of exclusive to British people, I guess. And I kind of wanted some of that for myself.
Cool. Because you can hear some Black Sabbath influences in your music.
Oh yeah.
A lot of riffs and kind of stuff like that. So it clearly shows that this probably is your main influence.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Cool. Your two albums, you have two albums which came out on Rise Above. The self-titled Witchsorrow and the second one, God Curses, yeah. And your last one, No Light Only Fire, came out on Candlelight. Why is that? There were some problems with the Rise Above, or was it just the contract?
It was sort of just when we came to do the third one, we were very happy with Rise Above. I know a lot of bands sort of leave and there's a bit of drama and stuff, but for us it was just that when we came to actually do the third album, it seemed Candlelight was kind of slightly, I felt like that was the way. And we spoke to Rise Above about it, and we spoke to Candlelight about it.
Couldn't really do it at the time.
Rise Above were like, well, we can do it, but not at this time. Like it would be, it wouldn't be for a long time. We could do it, and so Candlelight were kind of an option that sort of suited what we were doing at the moment. But I mean, Rise Above is awesome. I think Lee is really awesome guy. Like, Cathedral are another huge influence on us, and they're a massive band. And it was really cool being on Rise Above, because so many of the bands that I liked and that kind of got me into this kind of music were on Rise Above.
Signed there, exactly.
And around about sort of 2000, like everything cool that came out was on Rise Above. You think of like Orange Goblin albums, or like Electric Wizards, bands, and all those sorts of bands were all on there, and that was like the coolest thing in the world when we got to put out those records on there. So that was awesome.
It was a good start.
It was a very good start. It was like nice to be part of this sort of club of bands, and there's bands, American bands, stuff like Sleep as well, that stuff out on there. So it was cool. But then, when the Candlelight thing came up, that was what worked for us best at the time.
They've been great. They've been really amazing, helpful. We've been pushing the album hard. It's been working really well. So we're very happy.
Yeah, because first it looked like a collection of great doom metal bands and occult-oriented metal bands gathered under the Rise Above banner, and then all of a sudden it started to changed a little bit, and some of them left. But at first, Rise Above looked like the perfect place to gather this band.
Yeah, it was really cool, like being among those bands.
Ghost album was released.
There's Uncle Acid, all that kind of stuff. Like, I was lately signing really cool bands and stuff. Like even the sort of non-metal stuff, like Gallybeggar, who were like a folk band. I think are brilliant. Yeah, I think that's more what he's interested in these days, to be honest. But yeah, it was all cool.
Cool. Until now, you had two drummers, Moral Hammer and who played on the debut album, and David, who joined for the last album. This is a stupid question, but I had to ask you this: if Witchsorrow were some sort of blacksmith guild, do you think that Hellhammer can play on someone?
From Mayhem?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to come and take over for a little bit, that's
some of your records, just to fulfill the holy Hammer Trinity, you know?
I'd be into that, absolutely. I mean,
not that we're pushing Dave now.
no, but you know, if you came,
Two drummers.
yeah, we'd have a drum off.
Yeah, because it was really funny with the first two hammers, and I thought immediately about Hellhammer, the third one.
That's what we were going for.
And speaking of Mayhem, you released in 2013 an EP on tape, limited to 150 copies.
Yeah.
The Mysterious Dom Sabatas.
Yeah.
This is one hell of a name for this kind of EP, and it's a little bit unusual for a doom metal band to cover such a classic like Crazy Moon, and to have a demo or to have an EP with that cover, which reminds of the Mysterious Dom Satanas. What really inspired you to do that?
Well, we started covering Freezing Moon when
Before I was in the band.
I think we just used to play the riff at rehearsals, and then we sort of realised how easy it'd be to turn it into a Doom song without really having to do very much, because all that's really changed on there is the sort of the verse riff, because the middle bit's the same, the intro's the same. So we kind of figured out a way of playing it. We played it live a few times. We realised that it actually sounded pretty good, and we did the tape for Roadburn, where actually Attila from Mayhem was doing one of his weird
projects.
Yeah, some weird thing. It wasn't Sun or anything like that. It was just like him on his own with some sort of synthesizer, I think. But the whole thing was supposed to be like just total. The cover, everything was total tribute to Mayhem. I love Mayhem. I think that that album in particular is just mind blowing. I heard it when I was sort of 15, 16 years old, and it was just the sort of darkest, most evil thing I'd ever heard. And it was. I listened to a lot of that kind of stuff as well as Doom, like a total Doom fanatic.
When you sort of listen to the riffs and things, there can be quite a lot of relationships between Doom and black metal, and it's funny when you play it live to see how people react, and suddenly they go, "Oh, I see what you're doing there." It's funny.
Yeah, the sort of the two extreme ends on the black metal and Doom. So extreme ends of metal, but they kind of work in the same.
And they mixed together.
And atmosphere is quite similar.
It's the sort of darkness and the depressiveness.
And don't forget that Dead from Mayhem was in the video for Bewitched by Candlemass. He's one of the kids in the background. The circle is complete.
1986 or something like that. He was very, very young. Yeah, but the result, your result is amazing. The song is really, really powerful, and the Mysterious Dom Sabatas track is really great, but the cover is totally different, but it's amazing because it kind of respects the original and it brings something new. This is my opinion as a fan,
Well, I think that's what makes a good cover, if you can take the original but it's still recognisable as the original.
Exactly.
Kind of doing your own twist.
Adding a personal touch to that. So congratulations.
Just play a straight cover, it seems pointless.
Or do something really
many bands unfortunately do that. They just copy paste it, and it's I don't know, it doesn't have any personality. So but yours is really, really brilliant. So
thank you.
Congratulations for that. On your first album, the last track, it's called Impaler Cepesh. What attracted you to that character? The historical fact or the myth as well? And Dracula the vampire included.
I mean, it was. I kind of go back to I started writing the lyrics, and I wasn't like it was. I was writing them with nothing in mind. I just had to have some done for that evening's practice. And I started writing them, and about halfway through, I kind of came. I realised that I had an idea, so I went back and started again. And it was more about. I mean, it's completely historically inaccurate, but it's about vampire, about the sort of myth and stuff. About someone who's so evil that they can't even die, like they're too much for the devil, and I quite like the idea of it. Like, I think I came up with the title as I was before I was finished writing it. I thought the title's cooler than the lyrics, but I'll call it that because I'll remember it. But yeah, like I just started writing it and realised that as I was writing it, I kind of had the idea, so I went back and started again, using some of the lines, but just including stuff about vampires and killing people. But it was But we're actually playing that tonight for the first time in about 5 years.
Whoa!
As a special thing because we're here.
Cool.
We had to.
Yeah, we had to. We couldn't not do it.
And I had to ask that question as well. So.
That's good.
Cool. Thank you for playing that. Tell me, of course, in Britain everybody knows that this country is imbued in folklore and stuff like that. How inspired or how influenced is Witchsorrow by the British folklore and the British myths and like witches and
yeah, I mean, witches are a big part.
And early on they were more, I think they were a bit more into the folklore in the earlier albums, but now it's become a bit more reality, I think.
Yeah, I still use the language of folklore because I can't write a song about normal things. I don't think the language that you would use for that really works with Doom. I think it has to stay sort of vaguely medieval. So there's always going to be curses and damnation and things like that.
If you're actually thinking about something shit that's happening today.
Yeah, but like the sort of inspiration, like I like the sort of vibe of like the English countryside because you always feel like they're you could, especially where we live, where there's some Civil War battlefields and stuff. We're not very far really from Stonehenge, and the New Forest and places like that. So you're sort of surrounded by it. So when you're going on a train through the countryside, you sort of look out the window and see it raining on a big field or something, or a forest. You see a church on the hill, and it just feels very doomy. That specific folklore, not very much, like the witch trials and things. We've got songs about, but really any specific folklore, not as much. It's all certainly little bits and pieces of stuff that I sort of see or read or hear, kind of make it in, but none of it makes any sense. And if anybody actually tried to kind of have any understanding of anything from the lyrics, they'd find themselves pretty wrong pretty quickly, I think.
Okay. And speaking of folklore and religion, did you guys see The Witch, the movie?
Not yet, I haven't.
I haven't seen it. Everyone else I know has seen it and said it's amazing, but I haven't seen it yet.
Everybody tells us we should watch it.
Yeah. And now you're going to tell us to watch it.
Yeah, of course. I wanted to know your opinion on that movie because it's really a brilliant movie. It's related to British people and British folklore and the language it's spoken. It's really.
Oh, that's right. It's all spoken in sort of old English. That's right.
And it's really, really great movie. And the fact that it's not a Hollywood movie makes it even greater. Because the ending is not a happy one. So everybody can
But I do like those old sort of Witchfinder movies, like Witchfinder General and Mark of the Devil and stuff like that. Blood on Satan's Claw. I think those are all really good movies, but I've not seen that one yet.
Cool.
Do when we get back.
Yeah.
Christmas time. We have some time.
Yeah, it's perfect for that time. Tell me, guys, who does what in Witchsorrow? What's the recording process, the writing process?
I think that's most of it.
But we do have to work together.
I think in the early days it used to be very much you doing a lot of everything. Whereas now when we're writing stuff, we're starting to write some new stuff for future things. And it's kind of you bring some ideas in and then we kind of work on it as a whole.
Take bits away.
Take it away and then you might work on an extra bit and then we'll come back again and
I can't write a whole song on my own by myself because it never really works. I'll either get stuck, or when I've done what I think is the song, I'll take it to these guys and we'll start playing it, and it just won't be right when we start playing it, and it won't sound good. But generally, what I'll do, I'll come up with a few bits. I'll have stuff to bring in and some ideas, and then we'll start playing them together, and then out the other end comes a song, really. But yeah, it is always a group thing. Like we can't really, it doesn't really work if someone tries to write the whole thing on their own.
So it's like a team.
Yeah.
The lyrics
Lyrics are all me.
Job, but they come very end. I'll feed in some little phrases and things. Always keep notes.
Yeah.
Use a bit.
Titles. A lot of titles of yours on the last
Yeah,
album.
they were actually. Yeah. Got some more.
Oh, good.
Cool. Did you think did you think of adding a second guitar during the live shows to improve the heavier sound?
Nah, not really, because we.
He couldn't work with anybody else.
Well, yeah, that. No, I think. I always just liked having like three pieces, like like Black Sabbath and Van Halen and Cream and Motorhead, yeah, like
all the time.
like always really good bands. Just seem to, Venom. They all seem to have a bit of power trio.
If your sound is right, I don't think you necessarily need.
Yeah, because we're not doing a lot of harmonising and things like that. It's just keep it simple.
Trying to do too much on the album that we can't then.
Yeah, because if you listen to like Judas Priest or Thin Lizzy or Iron Maiden bands who've got two guitar players, or in Maiden's case three, they sound the actual songwriting and the way that the riffs actually sound are totally different to say Black Sabbath or Van Halen, and it's because everybody is doing a slightly different thing. The bass doesn't play the same as the guitar, and you have the drums will be working differently because it's more of a rhythm thing. Like it's become more from the bass rather than the guitar. But I think it would sound totally different if there were two guitar players. And also, I just thought there being three people. I think otherwise you get too many people and it becomes quite difficult. This is like an odd number of people, so you can have quite good sort of decision making. You have a tiebreaker.
We can all get in one car. We all get in one hotel.
Yeah, one car, one hotel room.
One aisle of plane.
Yeah, it's cheaper to do it. Like last night. Who was it that was playing last night? I can't remember who it was, but they had like.
Was it Fading Bliss? Oh no, Monolith.
Yeah, Monolith. There was like 7 people on stage.
And that feels so weird.
That seemed nuts to me. That seemed like an awful lot of organising and paying out money for stuff. Yeah, 7 opinions, 7 loads of stuff to carry around with you. No, 3 people.
Okay.
4 if you have a separate singer. That's fine.
Okay. I'm not gonna ask you this question because you already answered me in the first one. You were talking about the influences and stuff like that. I just wanted to know what bands really inspired you in the first place.
It was all like in the very first place. It was all like the sort of the true doom bands around the time. So like Run Bazaar, Gates of Slumber, Solstice, Symbiosis, Trouble,
traditional,
Pagan Altar, all those sorts of bands. As well as the kind of there's some stuff that's if you're playing a heavy metal band and you're of a certain age, you'll be influenced whether you like it or not by Metallica, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Motorhead, like all that. You haven't got any choice. Like that's
it will come out.
That's just what it is. Like it doesn't matter. It doesn't really mean.
So basically, these are the bands that you listen at home.
Yeah,
when you are not touring and stuff like that.
It's a variety of metal. We were talking about black metal earlier. It's quite a big influence on us. I listen to a lot of grind and death metal. So just a bit of everything, but under the same.
Thrashy thing. Your excited shit.
Yeah, man. They're mostly just true heavy metal, I guess. But like, there is like a group of doom bands that I always kind of look to as big. Like when I'm writing something that I kind of always have quite near in my mind, like Solitude Eternus and Saint Vitus and stuff like that. Just to kind of get myself in the right sort of frame of mind for writing stuff. Because it's quite easy just to go into picking up a guitar and playing it and just making things up. Before you know it, you've started doing the thrashy things, and you kind of lose sight of it. So it's quite good just to kind of be in like Saint Vitus mode when you go and start writing.
Cool. We talked about doom metal and how it's inspired by heavy metal, and that is really, I don't know, something that you can hear in songs like Breaking the Law or the Martyr, because they're very heavy metal imbued.
Yeah.
But the Martyr kind of starts as like a St. Vitus song.
Yeah,
and it kind of goes into Thin Lizzy or something like that.
Exactly, it just explodes into a heavy metal.
Well, what I wanted to do there, what I was thinking of when we were writing it, was that I wanted, Remember Tomorrow by Iron Maiden, where I just suddenly, I wanted to have it like just like that.
Okay.
That was all what I wanted in my head.
So that's your Remember Tomorrow.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking of, like where could this song go next? I really wanted one that went from being quite slow and kind of atmospheric to
when nobody expected, it just erupts in a cool.
But that was totally my thought. Like that's one of those metal bands that Iron Maiden just,
Did you ever consider of changing your vocal style from a heavy clean way of singing into a death metal growling or something like that?
No, because for one, I can't really do that. I'm not very good at the kind of the death grunty stuff or like screaming. Like I used to play in a grind band years ago, and I always thought my screaming in that, like I play guitar, but I do some sort of vocally stuff as well. There was a separate vocals, but I always thought that I sounded kind of crap to those sorts of vocals, and I didn't. A lot of the bands at the time who were playing when we started, who were playing sort of heavy, slow stuff, there was a lot of sludge bands around, and they were all screaming. And I really wanted us to be different by having like normal vocals.
I think Cathedral Rebels are.
Yeah, Grand Magus as well. Like, whereas everyone else who was playing that stuff, it was all like I Hate God and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I like those bands, but it was. There was nobody really who was like singing properly. There was only like a few bands who didn't play very often. Certainly not in like the sort of normal like underground thing. There was no one really singing like that. So that was something I wanted to keep. So it made us kind of our own band a little bit, which meant that I did have to sort of over time learn how to sing properly. But yeah, like the screaming stuff, like it's good if you can do it well, if the kind of music is just right for it. But I don't think it's really us. No, and I'm quite glad really, because now that we've been doing it for a long time, I don't feel like I have to change anything as I get older. Like there's some bands who like people have a go at them and so they've been selling out if they've got less and less heavy over time and they start doing clean vocals. Because when you get to 33, maybe you don't want to sing like that anymore, like you did when you were in your early 20s. I'm sure No Palm Death don't have a problem with it, but I think I would probably feel like a bit of a jackass if I was growling like that after a certain amount of time. I think like the grind band, I couldn't possibly imagine playing that kind of music now. I think it's kind of a youthful, it's sort of a youthful thing that you do when all you want to do is sort of scream like that.
Such an old man.
That was quite good.
How important is the live aspect for Witchsorrow? I saw that you had your share of concerts. Which one was the most memorable, or where did you exactly feel this is the perfect show that we had until now?
I think the biggest show, probably the best one we ever did, was supporting Electric Wizard in London at the Forum, which is about 1,500 people, nearly 2,000 people I think, and it was huge and sold out. And we've been there to see other concerts. We've been seeing Electric Wizard for many years before, and it just felt like we're finally here on this big stage supporting this band that we've loved for so many years. And it was like a real, wow, we have reached not a goal that we ever had, but if we could imagine this when we first started that we'd be doing this, it would be amazing. So I think that was a big kind of pinnacle so far. But there's plenty of other things.
I think it's a lot of these kind of things where we come over for like a long weekend, play a festival in Romania or Norway or the Netherlands we were in a few weeks ago, and it's amazing to see fans, people who listen to music from different countries coming over and supporting, and you kind of feel like, this is
someone's heard of us.
Someone appreciates what we're doing. It's great. It's really nice.
It's really worth touring and
Definitely.
playing live, because some bands just stick to the studio and just releasing albums after albums. But
the sort of live aspect is sort of what it's why I wanted to be in a band in the first place. Like when I was a kid, I spent all my time like drawing pictures of stages with like where the amp would go and like where the drums would be and stuff. Because all I ever wanted to do was play a gig, and like there was like to play a gig, for me it was like the local church hall where I'd seen some other bands playing. So I want to play, like I would love to know what that feels like to play there. So it's like playing live is kind of the main reason. Like,
recording's almost a necessary evil.
Yeah.
It's probably a bit extreme to say that, but
I quite like it.
it's pretty cool, but the thing with recording is it's stressful because you're having to get everything exactly right because it's going to be like that forever. So it's a lot of kind of pressure and stress. Also, it's really expensive recording. So you have to, it just feels like you're kind of, it's like eating a big ball of cotton wool that he's trying to get through. Whereas playing live it's a breeze. It's just you turn up and you play and it kind of happens. Like
Beers, have a good time.
yeah. For me, the thing about the best gig there, for me, favourite one, though, the Wizard show that Emily mentioned was awesome, and that's absolutely right. That was the first, the time when I really felt like we'd done something amazingly special. We played loads of gigs this year, but I can't.
festivals, I think some of the festivals we've been to and then we've been on stage at those festivals, that is a special moment, I think.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, we played Downloads this year, Download Festival. We played on one of the small tent stages on the same day that Iron Maiden and Saxon played, and it was awesome to be part of it. The show itself was a bit weird because it was surreal. Yeah, like, it was like 25 minutes, which is like a real push for a Doom band.
it's like 2 songs or something like that.
We had it exactly timed to 25 minutes, 4 songs. No talking, no nothing, just one into the other. And that was really cool, but it was weird because we had to get there really early. The weather was awful. It had been just raining all weekend, and it was really muddy and horrible. So, like being backstage, you had to sit in our dressing room thing. Well, there was nothing in the dressing rooms either. There was like a couple of beers, and that was kind of it.
Watching the rain.
Yeah, watching the rain, and then suddenly like, right, come on, you're on, and then you have to kind of get your shit together and put it on set up. And then before you know it, it's kind of all gone and it's done. But it felt like amazing to be like, this weekend I'm playing at Donington. This is great. So that was really good. Bloodstock this year I thought was really amazing. That was Bloodstock. That was the 4th time we played there.
Okay.
And we played the unsigned stage the first time, and that was pretty good. And then we played on this sort of bigger stage the other time. So this time it felt like it was a really, really good show. I don't know why I think that. It just felt. I think because we've been playing so many gigs leading up to that it just felt really kind of automatic, just walking on stage and playing, just getting straight into
When
it.
you've done something like that 4 times, you kind of know how it works and go on.
Yeah. Although it was so hot on stage, I was wearing a leather jacket, and it was so. At one point on stage, I could just feel myself just sort of shutting down. Oh God, this was a bad idea. But the thing is that you can't. Once you've got a leather jacket on stage, you can't take it off because why do you take a leather jacket off on stage? You don't.
Exactly.
So we came off afterwards. I sort of fell on the ground on my back. But it was a killer show that. So I think any time we've ever done anything where we've played with bands that we've kind of liked for a very long time is always
To see gigs that we've really remembered.
yeah, that always feels really special. Like the Wizard show that we did was amazing. We played it with us loads of times now, and I always feel like really privileged that we do it because they're really, really cool, and they've been a band that I've been into since I was over half my life now. So it's got like the last gig we've actually got booked is in a couple of weeks with Orange Goblin. Every year they do a Christmas show in London, and it's going to be 10 years since our first show. So they've asked us to come and play on that, and that's quite a big venue in London. It's a place called Coco, which is about 2,000. It's like an old theatre thing, but that's going to be really nice. I think to be playing with Orange Goblin first of all, but then to be kind of marking 10 years at such a big show and like a really cool venue.
It's one of these places where we've seen so many bands, sort of Sun play there, and Cannibal Corpse, and like years of history.
Yeah, and like Prince did part of his, he played all these like secret shows around London, and he played loads of them there because he really liked it. Apparently there were promoters like getting bumped because Prince had announced that he'd want to play there, and the venue would have to go, do you want to play at this other place instead so that Prince can play at your place? But you know, that's going to be really cool. And then we've got nothing else booked until we've done the record, so that's going to be quite a nice way to finish everything.
Have you thought of recording that show for a future DVD release, or?
No, we never really think about anything like that. It's always afterwards that when someone shows us that they've like videoed something, we kind of think,
we should have filmed
that. Yeah, that looks really cool. Yeah, we played a thing a little while ago in Sheffield, a Doom festival thing with Candlemass and a load of other bands, and they had TV screens there, so they had people filming it, and then they just put it up on YouTube, and that's really weird watching that because it's all really, really high quality footage. It actually
normally
looks
it's somebody's
proper.
phone, like
Yeah. But this is like 3 cameras, and it's kind of cutting between them all really fast, and it looks pretty cool. But they've tagged the wrong band in it on YouTube,
so no one will ever find it.
Oh well.
They tried.
So the last question is, when will you guys release a new album? I know that you just did that last year, so
next year, hopefully in about October time. I was sort of speaking to the label, and like things, when you record, it takes like 6 months after you've finished in the studio for it to actually come out, because they have to press it and do all the kind of paperwork and kind of get it planned together. Yeah, so at the moment we've got kind of a plan vaguely for like October, November time. There isn't a date set.
Depends how writing goes.
Yeah.
So we can get in the studio, all these things. But the aim is record in the spring maybe, and then out in the autumn.
Time for Christmas.
I mean, the label kind of asked us about it, and I went, not yet. And then about a week later, because he put the idea in my head. But yeah, I've got some bits and pieces for songs. We could probably start writing now. But now, of course, we're totally committed to it, and now just because we've started doing it, and we've kind of decided that's what we're doing next year. So yeah, we've got one more show after this one, and then nothing booked until we've done the records. I want to get it done quickly so we can get out and play again. So as we say, like recording and writing is quite a big. It feels more like the hard work than playing live does. Playing live feels like quite an easy thing to do, whereas recording is like work that other people are going to be looking at, forever. Yeah. Maybe. I hope.
Cool. Thank you very much, guys, for your time and for answering my questions.
Thank you.
And I'm really looking forward to hear Impaler Tepesh on stage, and why not maybe Freezing Moon. And welcome to Romania.
Thank you very much, sir. Cheers.
Thank you very much.